Hello, I'm Rick Hauer. I'm the director of the Center for Integrated Research on the Environment at the University of Montana. We call the center CIRE, and the purpose of CIRE is to conduct cultural and natural resource research for the Department of Defense.
The military manages over 300 million acres of land, and much of that land is in a relatively undegraded state, which offers some of the best opportunities for conservation and restoration on federal lands in the U.S.
There are these refuges for landscapes that have been lost, and you wouldn't think about that on a military base, but they are. Everything else has been developed, and what you have left are these little patches of some native landscapes.
They're almost pristine landscapes like national parks. I do a lot of work in Yellowstone National Park, and in many ways these bases have some of the most pristine landscapes that you can imagine, much like Yellowstone.
In fact, the military on their lands have the highest density of threatened and endangered species, simply because many of those lands are relatively unaltered. Thus, the military has an incredibly important role in protecting biological diversity within the United States.
The folks who are working at these bases, they care about these species. It's not a job, it's not a box to check. They want to manage these lands the best they can. And CIRE is a great resource in that we bring to them experts that maybe they don't have on staff or they don't have time for, and we can help them achieve their long-term goal of protecting these landscapes.
The research that's done by CIRE is done through a cooperative agreement that we have with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The research is done by PhD level academic and research faculty that are operating as principal investigators, and our principal investigators are then supported by master's level field and lab managers, but also includes graduate students and undergraduates, as well as veterans.
Having archaeologists who are current and former military veterans provides us with really outstanding access to bases and provides a nice opportunity for them as well.
Many of us have been in the military, and it helps us work as a group and abide by whatever concerns the military personnel have. We work together quite effectively, really.
We also have a large number of people from various tribes around the state of Montana and around the West, and these tribal members are an integral part of the tribal relations work that we do as a part of CIRE.
You know, this kind of across-the-board conversation in the beginning, before the bases develop their installation tribal relations plan, they are willing and want to be informed and educated so that they develop a plan that's meaningful and that's respectful and inclusive.
Really the most exciting thing is being able to visit and tour and be a part of the history and heritage of the United States within a military heritage that is very often underappreciated and gone unnoticed. Many of these resources are in place behind fence lines and along active flight lines, so we have to cooperate wherever possible with the United States military in order to maintain their mission, and also working with them and being sensitive to all their current needs and their mission needs.
All these bases are really just doing their due diligence, abiding by the National Historic Preservation Act, and it's really good for them down the road because then they know where all these cultural resources, such as archaeological sites, are located, and then they can plan their missions on the base, they can plan construction on the base, they can plan training activities on the base and not have any impact to important historic resources.
It's been great to bring together high technology, but then also the personnel, the people who are the experts, the biologists who can go out in the field and look for the eggs, who can interpret the sounds, and who can come up with a plan as well as model their habitat.
We've been able to really get a handle on what the United States has, and the value of these resources are now being discovered, I think, in a modern context where they had been previously considered part of 20th century heritage, where they are now part of a much larger national identity.
The importance of the work on these bases goes beyond just providing base archaeologists and base cultural resource people with knowledge of where these sites are, but ultimately you can paint a picture of Native American lifeways. And for that reason, it's important to have some public outreach typically in these projects.
It's truly a discipline that brings together people through their passions and their devotion to their professions.
We look forward to being able to apply our faculty, our principal investigators, our master's level research teams to the problems for the Department of Defense, whether they be in cultural or in natural resource management.